Shalom, 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 shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. By Shalom Mashiach Komalaki Awishai. This is Watchman for Israel, Seattle. Brother Zamron coming live right now with another lesson to wake up our people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You are God's chosen people, the Israelites the Bible speaks of. Hey, man, the real Jews, man, right? I want to say shalom, right? I also want to say shalom to all the brothers on the highways and hedges who are presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice in these last days, right? In season and out of season, man, doing the work, man, of the Most High, man. Shalom to you, brothers. I also want to say shalom to the mighty sisters in this thing, man, right? The mighty the Aquath, man, right? Who are reverencing their households, right? Who are operating in the spirit of our mighty foremothers, man, right? I want to say shalom to y'all. I also want to say shalom to the brothers who may not be on the highways and hedges as of yet, but you're studying, you're doing everything that you got to do, right, to prepare yourself, right, to present your body as a living sacrifice. I want to say shalom to y'all, man, real talk. And I also want to say shalom, right, to the sisters, right, who may not be married, right, but you studying, you realize that your head is Christ, and you're doing everything that you got to do to prepare yourself, right, for whether a husband or, hey, just to go out in this thing, you know what I'm saying, as a mighty sister in this thing, man. I want to say shalom to y'all, right? I also want to say shalom to everybody that's chiming in the chat, right? Morsi, Deacon Anthony, Lady of Zion 101, Hebrew daughter, right? Shalom, sister, shalom. That's my sister right there, right? T. Sellers, that's my brother right there too, man. Shalom. And everybody else who will be chiming in, right? As you see the title, Courting to Marriage / Tips. Because, you know, I'm going to touch on something that, you know, I normally don't touch on, because this is important too, right? Because the Most High, the first commandment that he gave to man is to be fruitful and multiply. And the only way that you can be fruitful and multiply, right, is to be, as a man, to be with a woman, as a woman to be with a man. We live in a society right now where we have Esau, right, in America, who will sit there and put on and portray that it's cool for our women to be independent as Israelite women, right? On that Beyonce spirit, man, right? We live in a society where you have Babylon the Great, where they will sit there and say that us as men, that it's cool for us to sit there and just be popping every single female and just moving on to the next, man, and being an all-out whoremonger out here, man. We hear it in the music. We see it on TV, right? Or they sit there and push us to sit there as men, to sit there and treat our women, right, like they ain't nothing, right? Like they just at the bottom of the sea, right? When we are instructed to teach the women, to treat the women like the church, man, right? So as the title says, courting to marriage tips, right? Brother Believe, shalom, 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 right? And T. Sellers, Salakia, sister, Salakia about that. My fault about that, right? So let's just deal with it, man, right? Let's deal with courtship, right? Because we are instructed to court. And if you don't know what court is, that's date. Hey, you may have grew up with your parents and said that, hey, you're at the age now that you can start dating, right? We have to understand that we have to actually date first, man, right? My brother Yasharallah, man, shalom, shalom. We need to be dating first, right? Before we sit there and just go straight into marriage. But what is marriage? We know through thy precepts and through thy understanding, right, that sex is marriage, man. So when you truly think about that, man, we have to take this thing seriously when we are courting, right? And when we are married. Because what we got to realize is that some of the same responsibilities that you have as a man being married or as a woman being married is the same responsibilities that you have to take when you are courting a female or when you are courting a male in this truth, man. Because we have to be that light, right? So courtship is about finding for a man, it's about finding a wife. Courtship for a woman is about finding a husband. Don't get it twisted. It ain't about a body count. Like, yeah, you know, I'm talking about I dated him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he ain't nothing, girl. Girl, you can have him. That's my leftovers. Or us as men, yeah, I holler at shawty, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I ain't really feeling what she's talking about, but go ahead, bro. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my leftovers. You can go ahead and do what you want to do with her. No, man, that's what we taught in the world, right? That's not holy. The last time I checked, the Most High made us holy, right? Let's get the classic real quick. Let me start off with that, man, right? Deuteronomy, and I'm going off the spirit. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee, the Israelites, to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Of course, we hear this verse and we understand, right, that we are literally above all other nations, that we do everything better than all nations. We sit there and say that, yeah, we play sports better than these other nations. We cook better than these other nations. We dress better than these other nations. We have more swag than these other nations. We're more spiritual than these other nations. But one thing that we don't realize is part of that verse is also talking about being better than these other nations is how we treat our women as men, and women, how we treat our men being an Israelite in this truth. We have to be that example, because when you look right at the percentages dealing with our men and our women in Israel, we literally not only fit the curses of Deuteronomy 28:54, Deuteronomy 28 and 56, but we also fit the ratings, right, and the percentages of Babylon the Great as far as marriages, right, and couples that do not work out at a divorce rate, man, right? So part of being better than these other nations is we can't sit there and look at what Esau and these other nations deem what is being successful in a successful relationship. Because what they feel a successful relationship is a woman bucking up to her man, a man beating her woman, right? A man just sitting there and sleeping with every single woman, right? Committing fornication, right? Yes, we understand man can have multiple wives, but there were guidelines to it, us as being Israelites. And we're going to touch all these matters to make sure that our people understand moving forward, right, that courting, right, is going to lead to marriage. And these are tips that we need in these last days, man, because nobody wants to be alone. Let's keep it 100. Nobody wants to be alone. If you are that man that says, you know, I'm gonna be an Enoch, you know what I'm saying, an Enoch, you know what I'm saying, in these last days, bro, you lying to yourself, man. You ain't got the spirit of the Enochs, man, and maybe you do, but most of our people, they don't got that type of spirit, man, as men. If you that type of woman, be like, you know what, girl, I'm just gonna be, you know what, Christ is my husband. Girl, you lying to yourself, right? The Lord has men out there for you, right? A man out there for you, if you would just apply the precepts and realize what your role is. Men, the Lord has a wife for you, or wives, because you got to be very circumspect in the situation. Is it a sin to have multiple wives? No. But is it expedient? It's not expedient. So you have to look at yourself. You have to examine yourself as a man and find out what is expedient for you. So, man, don't be sitting there talking about, yeah, I don't need none of these females, bro. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? I got 99 problems and a chick ain't one, right? So guess what? I'm just going to deal with these 99 problems. And no. Where does it say that in the scriptures? That I got 99 problems and a chick ain't one? You're not going to find that, right? So let's deal with this thing, man, because courtship is about finding a wife if you are a man, and courtship, if you are a woman, is about finding a husband, right? Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 2. And you know I'm going to show some video clips. You know I got video clips for all my people, man. Real talk. Now, I will say this. Some of the video clips I'm about to show, right, as far as how our people deal, how our men deal with our women in the world, and how our women deal with our men in the world, right, may have some cursing, you know what I'm saying, in the clips. So when I play these clips, if you got your children watching, make sure, you know what I'm saying, that you cover their ears, right? But we know that Paul said that though I may be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge, right? Keep that in mind, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 2. Let's start at verse 18, right? This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, right? And it says, And the Lord Yahweh said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. See, the Lord said that I'm not going to, the Lord didn't say that I'm going to make him a woman or a helpmeet that's equal to him. He said, I'm going to make him a helpmeet. Because if this helpmeet was equal to the man, then we will be pushing the same agenda that Esau's pushing upon our women, by telling our women of Israel that to be an independent woman, that you don't need the man, right? But the Lord said that it is not good for a man to be alone. So us as men, we have to realize that, right? It's not good for us to be alone. The Lord created woman for man. He didn't create man for women. We have to understand this, man, right? Because they are supposed to be a helpmeet. They're not supposed to be a stress to us, man, right? They're not supposed to be beating us up and down on our heads, man, right? Slapping us around everywhere, as you know what I'm saying, as men, right? They're not supposed to be doing that as women. They're not supposed to be bucking up to us, bringing more and more stress to us, because we already have to deal with stress. Us as men, if you are a man of the Lord, it is good for you to have a helpmeet, right? Let's jump to verse 23, same chapter, Genesis chapter 2, verse 23. And it says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man, right? So we have to understand, us as men, when we are dealing with the women, understand that they come from us. You're not going to sit there and beat up your own flesh, man. You're not going to slap your own flesh, man. You're not going to wish curses upon your own flesh, man, or death upon your own flesh, right? So understand, when you look at our Israelite women, when you are dealing with the Israelite woman as a man, realize that she comes from our flesh. So you have to deal with the Israelite woman carefully, right? Because we are the Most High's peculiar treasure, as stated in Psalms. We are the Most High's chosen people, right? His favorite people. And part of that favorite people is dealing with man and woman, right? Let's go to verse 20. Let's continue all the way to 25. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed, right? So it is biblical. It is holy, because being holy is being separate. It is law, once you get of a certain age, right, from a boy to a man, right, like the R&B group Boys to Men, to leave your father and to leave your mother and tend for your own, and find a wife to cleave unto, because she's supposed to cleave unto you. And when you guys cleave unto each other, you become one flesh, right? One flesh, one unity. Yes, we understand that the woman is the weaker vessel. Yes, we understand through the precepts, which we will bring out later, that man is over the woman. But we have to keep in mind as men that we are one flesh. This thing was made to be one flesh. And it's a beautiful thing in the eyesight of the Most High, man. Real talk, right? So we have to treat our women with care, right? And tenderness, man. Don't sit here and treat our women like we see our men treat our women in the world, man. Because all you are doing is dishonoring the Most High, operating in a vessel of dishonor, right? And you're also dishonoring the woman. And you're making our nation a laughingstock amongst these other nations, man, right? These are things that we have to understand. Let me get the book of Psalms, a classic, chapter 44, verse 14, right? Let's go to Psalms, chapter 19, Salakia. This is Psalms, chapter 44. No, it's verse 14. That's what I want, Salakia. This is Psalms, chapter 44, verse 14. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. Because when they sit there and they look at us, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, Israelites, that are in relationships, they look at the percentages of these relationships, and these other nations shake their head. We become a shaking of the head amongst the other nations, these other people. Why? Because we glorify in things that we hear in rap music. We glorify on things that we hear in hip hop, and even some R&B, right? Not all R&B, right? You know what I'm saying? It's righteous, man. Let's keep it real, right? These are things we have to realize. We got R&B singers that literally talk about taking other people's chicks, man. Chris Brown talks about it. Usher talks about it, man. Neo may talk about it from time to time, right? So we have to understand that we become a shaking of the head amongst the people, an SMH, like what you would type in a text message. And we got to change that narrative as Israelites in these last days, because we are in preparation in building the kingdom that's going to come after this kingdom is destroyed, right? And why not be that example now? We should not have to wait until the Lord literally takes us up out of here, man, puts the laws in our inward parts to learn how to treat our women the right way, or for women to learn how to treat our men the right way. We're getting on both men and the women in this thing, man, right? We're not leaving no stone left unturned. We should not have to wait for the new covenant to learn how to treat our women when we have the guideline in our hands. The Lord told us these things from the beginning. So don't listen to Esau, who puts out images, who sets the standard of what we have, or what he thinks that we have to do in order how to treat a woman the right way, or women to treat a man the right way. No, we look to the Most High Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Kwamalaki Awashai, man. Real talk, right? So let's read that again. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 25. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Because when the Lord created Adam and Eve, he created them to have that spirit of righteousness, man. That's what it's talking about, that they were both naked and not ashamed, right? We got to go back to that type of spirit, to the point that we are not ashamed to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We are not ashamed as men to love our women like we love the church. We are not ashamed as women, right, to reverence our men, our man, or our husband, right, or whoever that you're courting, right, like our mighty foremothers did, and operate in that spirit of our mighty foremothers, right? Let's get to the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, right? Let's go to Proverbs, chapter 18, the classic. Let's start at verse 22, right? Let's get that real quick. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, right? Verse 22. And it says, this is Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, right? I used to hear that in Christianity church, man, from that old nasty pastor. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. Ha, ha. Well, the Lord said it first. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. So us as men, we want to make sure that we find a wife. And we also as men have to understand what qualifications, right, that the woman has to meet to make her a wife. Because not every woman is made to be a wife. Let's keep it real. And not every man is made to be your husband. You have to have the spirit of discernment. You have to apply the precepts to understand if this woman is for you, or to understand if this man is for you. If you're not applying the precepts, if you're not learning these precepts, then you're going to be all over the place. You're going to be that type of man that's going to be entertaining a woman that might be entertaining literally like 15 different men, right? You might be that woman, right, that's entertaining this man who's sitting there sleeping with any and everything, man, right? These are things we got to realize, man. So we got to go back to the scriptures to get the understanding, because the Lord said again, whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. And a lot of us men, we want favor of the Lord in these last days. Well, it starts with finding a good wife, because she's going to be that balance that we need. Because the Lord said in Genesis, what we read earlier, that it is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helpmeet. Because the Lord is all about balance. He doesn't deal with unjust balance. That's an abomination unto him. So these are things that we have to realize, man, right? Let's go to Matthew real quick, chapter 19, right? Let's go to Matthew, and I'm going to share my screen real quick after this. Let's go to Matthew chapter 19. Let's start at verse 4, right? This is Matthew chapter 19, right? And it's start at verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And we're already dealing with this damn wicked, you know what I'm saying, society that we live in, where they want Adam with Steve, right? They want Eve with Shaquan Leave, right? These are things we got to realize, right? They pushing sodomite marriages in different states, making it legal, right? You got all types of wickedness going on where you literally have men, right, popping up on our timeline on social media with big old bellies all the way out to here, right? Talking about I'm pregnant, man. Then sitting there being held by another damn man. And they smiling. You got women, you know what I'm saying, that's talking about, yeah, I just like women, right? I just like women, but I'm going to go to Esau, right? And I'm going to get one of the little things, you know what I'm saying, and I'm going to shoot it up in me, and I'm going to get pregnant for me and my woman to raise, because we want to raise a family, right? All out wickedness, man. This is, I'm not making this stuff up. You can literally look this stuff up. And the Lord, right, who sent his son Yahushua said that, and he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, right? He made the male to be with the female. Let's continue, verse 5. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. See, a lot of you men, you want to sit there, you want a wife, right? You want a woman so bad, but you still living under your mammy house, man. You still living under your papa house, right? And you got to be a man in this thing, man. You got to fend for your own, man. You got to tend to your own self, man, right? Let your mama and your daddy get a break so that they can go back to doing what they used to do, you know what I'm saying, and rekindle their fire. How is your parents going to rekindle their fire and you a grown-ass man walking around in their house, man, right, with your Fruit of the Looms on, talking about, mom, could you make me some breakfast? And you 25 years old. That's madness. But you sit there and say that you want a woman. Then you sit there and wonder why a woman is looking at you a certain way and she don't respect you. Well, brother, you ain't giving her nothing to respect. Salakia. You ain't giving her nothing to respect because you're not even being responsible. You see what I'm saying? Because it is set for a woman to cleave unto his wife and a man to cleave unto a woman to cleave unto her husband and a man to cleave unto his wife. Right, all out nasty, man. Right, like the Paula said, man. Real talk, man. Give your parents a break. Get up out of their house. Now, we understand that certain brothers is in certain situations. So if you are still living with your parents, right, take advantage of the fact that you have parents that love you that much that they're willing to keep your grown ass in their house. Excuse my language, but I got to keep it real. Take advantage. Get yourself together. Get a job. Stack some bread, right? Stop being lazy. Sitting in the room, that same nasty room that you've been sitting in since you was damn 13 years old, 8 years old, with the same damn cover sheet. You still got the same damn Ninja Turtles as your damn blanket on your bed. The same posters posted up in your room. Oh, yeah, that's Michael Jordan. Oh, yeah, that's my favorite athlete. Oh, that's my favorite rapper right there. Brother, you're not ready. You know what I'm saying? To be with a woman. You're not ready to get married. So you got to prepare yourself to get for that moment. So if you are in that situation, if you're staying with your parents as a man, don't sit there and abuse that privilege. Because you never know when your parents might get tired of it and be like, bro, you got to get your butt up out the crib, right? And be a man on your own, right? And you're going to have to do what he says because that's his household, man, right? Verse 6, wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore Yahweh have joined together, let not man put asunder. So if the Most High as a man blessed you with the woman that you are very interested in and you're courting or you're married, right? Hey, the Most High put that thing together. Don't let another man come in between that and break that thing up because you have to have the spirit of discernment to know if that is a good thing or not, if you are courting. Now, once you decide to sleep with this woman, she becomes your wife. So if you didn't do your due diligence of courting and dating, which means basically learning the woman, learning about herself, getting in the scriptures, right? To see if this is the type of woman that needs to be for you. If you didn't do that, then it's too late. And many brothers have made many mistakes. And when I first came into this truth, I can talk about myself. When I first came into this truth, right, I didn't do my due diligence in courting a woman. I just met a woman and I was, by the eyes attracted to her, right? Which is why the eye is the most wicked thing, according to the scriptures. And she was attracted to me, right? And then she'll sit there and ask, we talking, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm an Israelite. I keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Are you about keeping the law, statutes, and commandments? Do you believe in the Most High? And then she'd be like, yeah. And then I would sit there and be like, all right, well, let's make this thing happen then. Right? And then all hell broke loose. Right? Learn from me. I'm not going to speak on things that I haven't gone through. Now, all praise in the Most High that he got me out of that situation through the scriptures, right? Biblically. But from that situation, I've learned not to make that mistake again. And I don't want my brothers making the same mistake that I made. You have to court a woman. Be patient in this thing, man. You know what they said in the world, man. Stop thinking with your thing and start thinking, with your head, man. Stop thinking with your thing and start thinking with these scriptures, man. Then you're going to know if this woman is supposed to be for you or not, man. Thus saith the Lord, right? Let's get the book of 2 Timothy real quick. Then I'm going to share my screen. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 2, right? Bear with me, right? Bear with me, right? And this is a lesson, right, for edification for our adults. This ain't for the children. So I'm just letting y'all know now, right? If you got children around, go to your phone and tap in and put your headphones in, right? Because we're going to come at you, man, with this, man, raw and direct, man, live and direct, right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 2. Let's start at verse 22. And it says, matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 21. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. And the master's use, he wants you to be used to be a husband to our women, to be that mighty husband, right? Especially approaching these last days. We're getting ready to enter into Jacob's trouble. You're going to have a lot of our women who want to be on that independent mindset that's going to be caught up in them last days. And I believe it says in Isaiah chapter 3 that 7 women, right, shall take hold on one man. And 7 is a number of completion. Salakia, dealing with a little sickness, man. So us as men, we have to make sure that we are that vessel of honor, that we are sanctified, man, right? and that we are prepared to do the good works. What's doing the good works? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Because if you focus on keeping the law, statutes, and commandments as a man who's courting a woman, right? If that woman is really for you, the Most High is going to reveal that thing. If you are a woman in this truth and you are doing the best that you possibly can do to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and you are courting a man, the Lord is going to reveal to you if that man is for you. These are things we got to understand, right? Verse 22, flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. So we got to flee these youthful lusts. What are these youthful lusts? Lusting after a woman just because of her looks and not doing your due diligence to figure her out. Lusting after a man because of his looks or what he has, instead of doing your due diligence to figure out what type of spirit that he's operating with, right? These are things we got to understand, right? We have to exhort the precepts, man, right? Because if you don't do that, man, then you're going to find yourself getting married, right? You're going to find yourself getting married, and you're going to end up being caught up in that thing in a bad marriage, man. You might end up being with a husband who's going to end up beating you. You might end up being with a woman, right, who's going to be talking all types of nasty to you, man, screaming at your face, man, spitting in your face, right, talking to other men. And all hell is going to break out in your household, man, right? Let me share my screen, right? Because if you don't exhort the precepts, you're going to fall under these percentages. So I typed up the percentages, the divorce rate percentages, dealing like which demographics have the highest divorce rate, right? Let's deal with it. Right? Let's deal with it. Real quick. Hold on, real quick. This is a great point. Right? I'm going to bring this out. This is a great point. Your little head will always make a fool out of your big head if you act brainless. I don't have the temperament to deal with marriage anymore. That's for the birds. Women will detain me. Right? Well, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? If that's the spirit the Most High put on you, brother, right? Lord willing that you continue to, you know what I'm saying, to abide in this truth. Lord willing that you'll be mighty in this thing, man, without a woman. Hey, Paul, you know what I'm saying? Paul didn't have a wife. Paul didn't have a wife. So we got to understand that, right? But don't sit there and knock. Don't think that the Lord doesn't have a good woman for you, brother, right? These are things that you got to realize, man. You have to be patient in this thing. So I wanted to address that, right? I didn't read that all the way, but now that I read that, I'm glad that I pulled that up, right? You have to be patient. Don't rush into something, right, that's not for you. If you are exhorting the precepts, if you are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments as a man, the Lord may have a woman for you, and you won't have to find, it won't be hard to find, right? So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Salakia. Well, I typed in demographics that have the highest divorce rates. Right? Let's see what they got us. Let's see what they say. Especially dealing with here in Babylon the Great. Let's see what they say. It says Americans, right, who completed college are less likely to divorce. Now, we don't listen to what Esau says, right? Did the Lord say that you have to go to college, right, in order to have a successful marriage? Did our righteous foremothers and forefathers go to college, damn Duke University, right? All these Ivy League schools to learn how to have a good marriage? La'ah. This is our college right here. These scriptures, man. Right? You want to learn how to have a good marriage, this is all you need. It says, according to the survey, 29% of women and 28% of men with bachelor's degrees have divorced or married more than once, compared to 39% of men and 37% of women whose educational attainment levels were high school or less. Now we're gonna look at this spiritually. Here Esau says that your percentage levels are going to be lower if you go to college, as far as you having a unsuccessful marriage or relationship or courtship, but the percentage levels are going to be higher, right? If you don't go, you know what I'm saying? If you don't go to college. Well, the Lord says that your percentage levels is going to be way lower if you exhort the precepts. If you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and your percentage levels are going to be higher if you decide not to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, because these are part of the curses. Right? Let's get that classic, Deuteronomy chapter 28. Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54, right? And 56. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. So if you don't keep the commandments as an Israelite, there's going to be a high percentage rate of our brothers, right, whose eye is going to be evil toward his wife, whose eye is going to be evil toward his children, to the point that he's going to leave the household and leave the women to raise the children on her own. And Esau knows this. Esau knows that we are the cursed people. Esau knows that we are the real Israelites, which is why he's doing everything in his power to shut this information down, whether it's coming from the man of the Lord, whether it's coming from via YouTube, whether it's coming from celebrities. But guess what? He can't do anything to stop this thing. This knowledge and wisdom is still going to get out, right? Let's go to verse 56. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. But it started with the men first. This is why we have to understand that we are the stronger vessel and they are the weaker vessel. Us as men, we have to show the example. We have to operate in the spirit to show our women why the Most High created them to be a helpmeet for us. Because our men are operating in the spirit of that left-hand side, which is dealing with wickedness. And you got a lot of our women that sitting there like talking about like, yeah, girl, I told you, niggas ain't right? Because us as men, we're not exhorting the precepts. We're not keeping the commandments. So we fall under these curses. Then it's like a domino effect to where it falls on our women. And now our women have had bad experiences dealing with us as men in this truth, or men in the world. To the point that you have a woman who used to be in the world, she'll meet a man in the truth, right, that the Most High may have for her, and she don't even know a good man that's in front of her, or vice versa, right? Because of these curses. Then she's bucking up to this man, right? Cursing this man out, trying to act like she's the man in the relationship, trying to beat on him, act like she can put hands on him, like she can really not come out, right? With that Ronda Rousey spirit, right? That Layla Ali spirit, right? And then you have a domino effect that happens from generation after generation of not only failed marriages, but failed courtship. Because courtship is very important. These are the first steps into determining and to establishing a good marriage. And let's continue what it says, right? The racial divorce divide is what it says right here. It says, using the same data, we can see that Native Americans have the highest divorce rate among the participants surveyed. You cannot tell me nothing less. You can't tell me nothing that we fit these curses. It says that the Native Americans, the Gadites, have the highest divorce rate. That's the Israelites. With what? A 45% of men and 44% of women having been divorced or married more than once. Right? The racial group with the lowest divorce rate was what? The Asian Americans, these Moabites, man. Right? And Ammonites. They have the lowest divorce rate. And they should have the lowest divorce rate. They don't fit the curses, man. Right? Hey, there's a lot of, Moabites and Ammonites over here in Seattle, man, and they live damn near better than the so-called white man. I used to see these things when I used to work for Amazon. I would have to deliver in neighborhoods like Bellevue, where damn Russell Wilson and Sierra used to live at, right? Where damn Bill Gates live at, right? And literally a high percentage of the doors that I was knocking on and it was being answered by was damn Moabites and Ammonites, right? They have the lowest percentage of divorce rate, right? With only 18% of women and 16% of men reporting that they have been divorced or married more than once. For white Americans, right, which are Edomites, 38% of women and 36% of men had been divorced or married more than once, right? And all praise in the Most High that these rates are going up on them because they are our chief enemies. And the curses are turning around on our enemies, but that percentage doesn't really affect them as a nation of people when the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, which we know through thy precepts from Malachi chapter 1, verse 3 through 4, is dealing with Esau, right? Who lives by that sword, like Psalm 17 and 13, right? And let's look at this right here. And for Black Americans, right? Which is dealing with Judite, which tribe of Judah, right? Southern Kingdom, Israelites. This figure was 42% for both genders. Among Latinos, 30% of women and 27% of men have been divorced and married more than once. So when you look at the so-called Native Americans, so-called Blacks, and so-called Latinos, we have the highest rate of divorce, the highest rate of unsuccessful marriages and unsuccessful courtships, right? Not these other nations. Why? Because we fit the curses. So in order to get out of these curses, we have to exhort the precepts, y'all. The precepts. These are things that we have to realize. Thus said the Lord, man. Right? And because we don't exhort the precepts, we fall under these curses, man. Let's get the book of 1 Corinthians real quick. Bear with me, man. Throat trying to bother me, man. Let's get the book of 1 Corinthians, right? Chapter 6, verse 18, right? But we're not going to let that stop the word from coming out. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18, and it says, flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. This is also why a lot of courtships don't last, because you guys are too quick. Our men and our women are too quick to sleep with one another, man, to lay down with one another. You men are too quick to go into another woman. You women are too quick to open up, right? To open up your avenues to allow the arrows to go through with them quivers, which I'm going to bring out. You got to kind of put on that, you know what I'm saying, like that nasty, what Nasty Medea said, man, right? That clink, clink type spirit, man. Put on that clink, clink type spirit. Don't have the first thing that's on your mind as a man is sleeping with this woman. Because 9 out of 10 times, man, it's not going to go well for you. Don't be as a woman in this truth, and the main thing that's on your mind is sleeping with this man, right? Because 9 out of 10 times it's not going to go well for you, right? Because we best believe we got women that think like that too. I remember an old post that damn near went viral, unfortunately, with my brother Araya, right, from WFI Baltimore. And he's out on the highways and hedges teaching. And here you have Wicked Eve. She's sitting there smacking Cheetos, right? Cheetos all over her whole damn lips is orange. Fingers is orange. The whole 9 yards, man, right? Dressed like a thought, sitting there watching this camp video talking about F what he trying to say. I'm just trying to smash. That's madness, man, right? Don't be that man and you got a woman that comes up to you, be like, look, I know you want to keep the commandments, you an Israelite, but all that's good and dandy, but real talk, I'm just trying to smash. And then you sit there and fall victim. No, man. As a woman, don't be that woman, right? Well, you got a man that approaches you and be like, yeah, what's good, shawty? I'm just trying to get in them things, man. Real talk. Shawty, give me them digits, man. You know what I'm saying? So I can get in that thing. Don't sit there and fall for that. These are things, these are sayings, these are mindsets of the world, right? And that leads to fornication. Because next thing you know, you dealing with a man and his whole purpose was just to sleep with you. Then you gave him what he wanted and he's not being spiritual. And what do you think he's going to do? He's going to be popping everything else left and right, man. And not keeping up with his marriage duties, right? Next thing you're going to be doing, you're going to be calling Tyrone, right? Talking about, I need some help with my electric bill. And Tyrone going to be like, do what you got to do, shorty. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Well, Tyrone, you wasn't saying that the night that you were sleeping with me, right? These are things we got to realize. Or you as a man, you sit there and give yourself unto a woman because she want to be a thought and you didn't do your due diligence, right? And now she's not doing the wifely duties. You going to work, working your butt off, and you come home, man, right? And the whole house is a wreck. Roaches on the damn floor, right? Crawling around. Bed not made. Then you wake up with a damn roach in your ear, right? Then you kind of looking at her like you just a nasty, right? But guess what? That's your wife now. Deal with it, right? So we got to be patient in this thing, man, right? And as men, how should we treat our women, right? Let's get the classic. Let's go to Proverbs, right? As men, how should we treat our women? And then I'm going to deal with women, how should we treat our men, right? Let's go to Proverbs, the classic, chapter 31, right? This is Proverbs chapter 31. Let's start at verse 1. Let's read all the way through 4. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So these words that we're getting ready to read, these scriptures, these words of wisdom that we are reading in Proverbs 31, right, is from a mother, is from a woman giving to her son who is a king, right? And a lot of us men, we've grown up, you know what I'm saying, in single, you know what I'm saying, in households where the mother is only there and our father's not there. I've gone through that, right? Off and on, right? A lot of other brothers and sisters have gone through that. A lot of brothers have gone through that. And you've had mothers who give you warnings of the type of women that you shouldn't even be messing with. But again, we're not thinking, right, spiritually, we thinking physically. And we don't even listen to our own mother, right? So let's see if King Lemuel listened, right? Verse 2. What, my son, and what, the son of my womb, and what, the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. And what is it talking about when it says, give not thy strength unto women, right? Slacky, man. I'm going to pull it up in the blue letter, right? I'm not going to share my screen. I'm going to do it on my phone, right? Let's pull it up in the Blue Letter Bible, right? Proverbs 31, Salakia. Proverbs 31, right? And let's go to verse 3. Give not thy strength, right? Is it talking about physical strength, right? Is it talking about not protecting your woman from harm and danger, right? Let's get into this thing. Let's see what it gives us. Give not thy strength, right? Let's see if it gives us a sound in this one. Right. I don't know if my sound's all the way up. Oh, slack it. It's not all the way up. Slack it.
Strong's H2428. Shayil.
Right? Strong's H2428. Right? Hayel. Right? It says strength, might, efficiency, wealth. Look at that. That's the key thing. Give not all thy wealth to thy woman. Give not all thy efficiency to thy woman. Because we have to realize as men of the Lord, right, that they were created to be a helpmeet, right? You don't want to be dealing with the woman that's not keeping up with her duties as a wife. You don't want to be courting a woman who has no interest in being a wife. And you're not going to know that if you don't court her, go on dates, talk, right? Get to know her, pray, fast, exhort the scriptures, teach her the scriptures. You're not going to know what type of woman you're dealing with, right? You could be dealing with the woman that's going to cause you to give all your strength unto her, and then she doesn't even honor you. Why? Because what she say? Why did she say not to give thy strength unto a woman? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Because as you look at the accounts in the scriptures, you had men like Samson, who gave his strength unto a woman, right? And it destroyed him, right? You have many accounts in the Bible dealing with our forefathers who gave their strength unto a woman, right? And it brought hell in their household. You had David, he gave his strength unto Bathsheba, right? And his firstborn son was destroyed, right? Verse 4, it is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, right? And that's just literally dealing, you know, understand that the scriptures are double fold. So that's dealing, right, with philosophies, right? Because women are the weaker vessels, right? And when you give your strength and all your resources unto a woman, right, you're going to find yourself not keeping the commandments. You're going to find yourself being a weak man in this thing, right? You're going to find yourself failing as you are courting or failing in your marriage, man. These are tips that we need moving forward in these last days, man. Thus saith the Lord, right? Because if we sit there and give thy strength unto a woman, right, then you're going to give our women, right, what society calls that independent black woman spirit, right? When you have artists like Beyonce talking about all the single ladies, right? Right? Up, put your hands up. Right? Where does it say that in the scriptures? Where does it say all the single ladies, all the single ladies? You're not going to find that, right? These are things we got to realize, man, right? You're going to find yourself as men, right, dealing with women who do not respect you, who have absolutely no respect for men. And it's going to be all hell breaking loose. Let me share my screen. All right. Let's get an example of independent black women, right? This is madness, man. Let me share my screen. Look at this, man. The strong, independent black woman, right? You see that? The strong, independent black woman. It is hard having to uphold a standard that you cannot be weak no matter what you are going through, right? See, the strong, independent black woman concept is teaching our women that they're not the weaker vessel, that they are equal. But see, the problem is that we don't exhort the scriptures. We don't see through the scriptures. We don't read the scriptures to see how our foremothers operated, how they operated in the spirit on the right-hand side of righteousness, how being submissive, right, is a beautiful thing unto the eyes of the Most High Yahweh. See, our women, they're too busy looking at women, right, like this. Let's go to the images. Let's get images, right? This is what our women look up to, man, right? This is what you call proud, black, independent women. Look at her over here. Look at this woman over here to the left. That looks like damn Kelly Rowland, man, right? That looks like Kelly Rowland, right? From damn Destiny's Child. Talking about we can do it. We can do it. On that water boy spirit. You can do it. Right? Trying to flex some muscles. I don't know about y'all. You know, I'm not knocking, you know, I'm not, this is my personal preference. I'm not one to knock women who want to, you know, hit the gym and stay in shape and things of that nature. There's nothing wrong with that. But the moment you start kind of looking manly, right? You got veins kind of popping in your damn, you know what I'm saying, arms. You know what I'm saying? Trying to look like damn the damn Woman King, man. That damn Wicked movie. Right? Then you start to look like a man to me. Right? I don't know if other brothers feel that way. But I don't want no brother. No, I don't want no sister, Slakia. I don't want no sister with muscle mass like damn Black China, man. I don't want no woman with muscle mass like damn Ronda Rousey. That's madness. What does it say in the scriptures that cooking, cleaning, sewing, being submissive to your husband gonna give you strong muscles? No. See, our women, they operate off that we can do it spirit, right? Like this woman look like she don't need a man, right? Look at this one right here, right? It says independent black woman sitting stock footage. Right? She probably making money, right? All praise to the Most High, she rocking that natural, her natural hair. I'm not knocking that. But she kind of sitting in that, like that boss chair, like, you know what I'm saying, that chair that men sit at that get the big piece of chicken, right? Strong, independent black woman. First of all, we not black. Number one, we're Israelites, right? Let's see what else I get. She's the golden standard for that independent black woman. Damn Michelle Obama, right? I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm led to believe that's a man, right? Because you got to check the Adam's apple in these last days, man. Right? Don't be fooled, man. Right? Look at this woman over here. Look at her over here. Right? You probably gonna have a lot of ears that are gonna be offended by what I just said about Michelle Obama. But I don't give a damn. What has she done to help further the Israelite community? Nothing. Right? She pushed that independent black woman's, right, spirit to get our women to leave and not want to deal with our men. And then you got our men now, they sitting there, they dealing with each other. And it's a bunch of butt breaking going on, man. Right? Michelle Obama ain't got nothing, right, on Rachel. Michelle Obama ain't got nothing on Rebecca, Sarah, Mary, Esther, Judith. Look at this woman over here, right? That's a typical pose for strong black independent women. I don't know who the hell you talking to, right? Look like she on the phone right now talking to her homegirls, spreading gossip. Look, girl, let me tell you, right? The Most High is not dealing with that, right? Look at this. Look at her face. Look at that face right there. Look at them eyes, right? That look like a woman who's getting ready to go off. Like she can't believe what she. You asking me to cook? You asking me to sew? You asking me to clean the house? What? What? Right? This is what they're trying to throw on our women, man. Right? Right? Then they want them to be like men so bad, right? They tell them to cut their hair, right? Cut your hair and make it blonde, right? It look like damn Johnny Bravo. This is madness, man. This upsets me. Just looking at this upsets me, right? Where's the mighty woman with the fringes on, man? Reverencing her husband, right? All we see is this independent so-called black woman spirit, man. Right? Look at that. Look at this. Same woman. Look, this they national flag. I am strong, independent black woman who don't need a man. I don't need no man. Madness, man. Real talk. So, men, these are the type of women you want to beware. Don't deal with these type of women, right? You don't want to deal with those type of women. These are things we got to realize, man. Thus said the Lord. And it's all right, sister. We going to get on the men too. You must have just chimed in. We're going to get on the men too. Hold your horses, right? These are things we got to realize, man, right? See, our women, then they take on that role, right? And if they want to be, in a couple, right? They look up to this couple, right? They look up to this couple. This is what they deem as, right, a power couple, quote unquote, right? Check this out. This is what our people look up to as what a power couple is. Oh, this is a power couple. Oh, they got such a great relationship. That Jay-Z, Beyonce power couple spirit. No, Abraham, right, and Sarah, that's a power couple, right? Jacob, Rachel, Leah, right, that's a power couple. Isaac and Rebecca is a power couple, man. These are things that we got to realize, right? Not this, where he's allowing his woman to just show off all her cleavage in these provocative dresses, right? He puts on that nasty bow tie like the so-called white man, right? They on stage rapping, kind of twerking and backing it up for the whole world to see. How is this a power couple, man? Right? And I ain't gonna lie, I be feeling sorry for this little girl. Every time I see this little girl, right? Let me zoom in on her, right? And they named her Blue Ivy, right? Look at her. She kind of be looking like, look, y'all, I'm just here. I really don't like this, but I'm just here, right? Look like she trying to get out, right? This is what they deem as a power couple, right? And they put on these pictures, right, to make it seem like they're all happy, right? When all they're doing is committing up to witchcraft, right? You got Beyonce talking about all the single ladies, and she married. You see that? You got Jay-Z talk about, I got 99 problems, but a chick ain't one. But he got a chick with 99 problems. Let's keep it 100, right? So you can't sit there and follow these celebrities, man. Right? Don't look at these celebrities, these men and women of renown who do nothing but try to deceive the masses, man. Look at that. She dressed like a witch here, right? He rocking the American flag, right? All out lost, man, right? She over here, right? She kind of rocking the blazer, right? This is madness. This is not biblical. Witches and warlocks is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with them, right? Right. And if you're here to scoff, right, we're not entertaining no scoffers. Find you a husband to go scoff at. We're not entertaining no scoffers. We are judging righteously. Because if you're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, then it is our job to judge our own people. Where does it say that we can't, that only God can judge me? Let's get the book of Leviticus real quick. And we're going to move on to address that matter. Let's go to Leviticus, right? Chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. No, don't judge your neighbor. It says, thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. The Lord said it is a sin for our women to have that independent spirit. The Lord said that it is a sin for our women, right, to not dress modestly. The Lord said that it is a sin for our men to not keep the law, statutes, and commandments, man, right, and lead our men to unrighteousness and wickedness, man, and it's a sin to be treating our women like our men be treating our women in the world, man. And it is our job as Israelites to address these matters because they are our people, right? And if we don't address them, then we don't love them. You see that? So these are things we got to realize. And if y'all in the chat, man, right? I need a moderator on here, right? If y'all in the chat, right? Put her in her place. Right, my brother from Seattle since 1980. Shalom, King. Shalom. I love you, brother. Real talk. All right, now let's continue. We're not entertaining no more folly and madness, man. All right, this is for men and for women. So if the shoe fits and you get upset, if the shoe fits, wear it. Right? Keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and maybe you'll find a righteous man. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments, men, and you will find you a virtuous woman. This is Genesis chapter 29, right? Matter of fact, let me go back to Proverbs 31 and 10. 31. That's what I want. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. And that's a question that's asked to us. Who can find a virtuous woman? It's very hard to find a virtuous woman, right? When all our women do is stick up for Beyonce. Right, and then come up on here and then sit there, right, and then comment this type madness, man. We know what love is. It's keeping the commandments, right? It's hard to find a virtuous woman. So us, just like women are being picky, us as men, we also have to be picky. Because once we come into the spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and truth, we have to understand, right, that we have to be an example if we decide to court another woman. If we decide as women to court a man leading up to marriage because we want that marriage to be successful, right? These are things that we have to realize, man, right? Let's read it again. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Because her price is far above rubies, right? We're just going to block her, right? You have now been blocked. Now continue to listen or go to your husband, right? I have a wife, and she's very submissive, all praise to the Most High. Now, let's go to Genesis chapter 29. Let's start at verse 15. Genesis chapter 29, verse 15. We're still dealing with the men, right? We're dealing with how men should treat the woman, right? And here you got women bucking up. You see that? This is why I can't wait to get up out of this place, right? This is Genesis chapter 29. Let's start at verse 15. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? Because back then you couldn't just walk up to a woman and be like, yeah, I'm trying to holler at you, right? We used to have to literally go to the father and ask for that, for, for his daughter. And you would have to pay wages. You would have to do things to work for that daughter, man, right? So women, if you're thinking about that, you got to make sure that you are being virtuous. And if you are operating in that virtuous spirit, don't just allow any man to have you, right? Verse 16. And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. So here you had Leah, who probably had a better spirit, right, of the Most High, but Rachel was more attractive, right? Let's continue. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. Right here you got Jacob, who's willing to serve the father, go to work for the father just for Rachel for 7 years. Truly think about that, man. When we are men in this truth and we are trying to court. And a lot of our men get impatient, right? And they don't even want to court a sister for damn 7 days. Now we know that 7 is dealing with a number of completion, right? But here you had Jacob, who literally served, right, for 7 years. Verse 19, and Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days for the love he had to her. Because if you truly want to learn a woman, if you truly, right, want a wife, if you are truly seeking for a virtuous woman, you're going to labor in this thing. You're going to labor in this courtship if you are courting this woman. Part of laboring is teaching the woman the scriptures, going over the scriptures with that woman, going on multiple dates, talking with one another, talking about your past, right? Talking about maybe things that you may want in the future, talking about how you may want your household to run, right? And you got to work this thing, man. You have to be patient because there's probably something that you want from a woman and she's not willing to do that. But if you really want that woman, be patient. Build her up in this thing. And we had to be built up in this truth. We're still being built up in this truth, right? We don't have it all together, right? These are things that we have to realize, man, right? So here you had our mighty forefather Jacob, who worked 7 years for Rachel. You got to ask yourself as men of the Lord, are you willing to even go to that extent for a woman? Well, Jacob was, right? Because it seemed like a few days unto Jacob. Verse 21. And Jacob said unto Laban, right? Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. So sex is marriage, because going in unto a woman is dealing with sex. The Most High didn't say that marriage is putting on, right, that white dress as a woman, putting on, that tuxedo, right, having a best man, right, and maidens of honor, going to that nasty wooden church, right, and having people sitting in pews and that nasty organ player talking about, that's not in the scriptures, right? When you go in unto a woman, that is a sacred thing. This is why it's important as men that we should court our sisters, man, before going in unto them, because the moment that you do that, that is a sacred act and she becomes your wife. Women, the moment that you open up yourself to a man, he becomes your husband. Verse 22. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Ziplah, his maid, for an handmaid, right? So here you had Laban, who deceived Jacob by giving him Leah, right? The older daughter, the one that he didn't deem as pretty, right? Verse 25. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn, right? Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also. So Jacob really didn't even get who he wanted until damn near 14 years, man. That's patience, right? And I believe that's part of the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians chapter 5, right? Having that patience, that long suffering. Us as men, we have to be patient, have long suffering with the woman that we are courting, the woman that we are interested in making our wife. And if you are courting a woman and you have no interest of making her your wife, stop wasting your time, brother. Why? Because there could be another brother that may want to actually court her to make her his wife. Sister, if you're dealing with a man, right, in this truth that's courting you but has no plans of marrying you, stop dealing with that man. You wasting your time, because the Most High may have a man for you that really sees your value and wants to marry you, right? And you know, and she said, did Leah want Jacob? That's a great question, right? See, what we have to understand is that it wasn't the women's decision, right? It was the father's decision. So she may have wanted Jacob, she may have not wanted Jacob, but it wasn't up to her, because the man is over the woman. We live in a society where they are pushing that independent, strong woman, black woman spirit, man. Right? So these are things that we got to realize, man. Right? Now let's go to let's go to Genesis. Let's jump to verse Slakia. Let's jump to verse, that was 28. Let's see what else I want. Let's jump to Exodus chapter 21, right? Let's jump to Exodus chapter 21, right? Because as men, you got to be willing to work, right, for that virtuous woman. You have to be patient for that virtuous woman. If you're not patient, then you're going to find, right, a clamorous woman, right, who's loud and clamorous, a loudmouth woman who don't know, you know what I'm saying, how to operate like our mighty foremothers, right? These are things we got to realize, right? Then it's going to cause you to be like, well, I don't feel like dealing with her. Let me go find me another wife because, oh, we can have multiple wives, right? But then you don't even read the scriptures. You don't even understand the qualifications that it takes for you to have a multiple wife. This is Exodus chapter 21, verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not be diminished. So even if you didn't do your due diligence in courting this woman, you slept with her, she becomes your wife. If it didn't work out, if she's not, you know, being that virtuous woman, right? Understand that if you're going to go find you another wife, she's still your wife, and you have to keep that same duties, right, with that woman that you first slept with, and keep the same duties with now this new woman. And a lot of our men, they're not in that financial position to do that, which is why the Most High says it's not a sin, paraphrasing, it's not a sin to have multiple wives, but it's not expedient. You have to be circumspect as a man in this truth to see what is expedient for your life. For my life right now, it's expedient for me to have one wife, right? I got a lot of responsibilities that I have to take care of in this household, right? I'm not in the financial position to go and find me another wife, especially another wife who's not going to be able to contribute to this household financially, spiritually. A lot of you men have a virtuous woman, and you just being covetous, man. You being lustful, feeling like you need to have another wife when really you don't even need one, right? If it is meant for you to have another wife, it's going to be done in decency and in order, because the Most High does everything in decency and in order. Let's go to 1 Corinthians real quick. Let's get that classic. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. right? Chapter 14. Let's start at verse 40. Let all things be done decently and in order. So this is why our women, right? The father, you would have to go, as a man, you would have to go to the father. The father would appoint his daughters, right, unto whatever man that he allows his daughters to get married to be married to, because these things were done indecently and in order, right? Because as a father, as a man, we know how us men are. So we're going to be very protective over our daughters. As a mother, they know how the women are. So they're going to be very overprotective over their sons. It plays hand in hand, right? These are things we got to realize. Let's go to the book of Ephesians, right? Chapter 5, right? And I'm going to show you a clip real quick, man. All right, let's go to Ephesians, chapter 5, right? All right, Ephesians, chapter 5. Let's start at verse 21. Right? Ephesians, chapter 5. Bear with me. Verse 21. This is Ephesians, chapter 5. Let's start at verse 21. And it says, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of Yahweh. So when you are courting, if you are a man courting a woman, you have to submit yourself to this woman with that fear, though, of the Most High. So court a woman having that fear of the Most High, right? And what is fear of the Most High? Let's get that classic, man, right? Let's get that classic. Let's go to Proverbs, right? Bear with me. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 13. This is Proverbs chapter 8, verse 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, and the evil way and the froward mouth do I hate. So if you fear the Lord, you're going to hate evil, right? If you are courting a woman and you truly fear the Lord, you're going to hate doing anything evil to that woman. You're going to do things the biblical way. You're going to do things based off thus saith the Lord. You're not going to have pride, right? And you're going to exhort the scriptures. You're not going to be arrogant, right? And you're not going to exhort evil ways, because that's what a lot of our men do, right? They sit there and they read verses like Proverbs 31:3, give not thy strength unto a woman. And they don't understand the context of that. And they think that they can just be a roaring lion amongst our women. Oh, I can do what I want to do, right? And you got a lot of our men that are caught up in Islam. And Islam teaches that you can beat your wife, man, right? That it's okay to strike your wife if she doesn't do what you say. First, you can deny her sex, right? And where is that in the scriptures, right? Second, you know what I'm saying? You can just stop doing the duties, you know what I'm saying, as a husband. And if she still don't listen, you can strike her. This is why we don't follow the ways of the heathen, man, right? Now I'm going to bring out this clip, right? I'm about to show this clip, right? Now, this is a clip. Y'all seen this movie. Most of you may have seen this movie, What's Love Got to Do with It? Right? With Angela Bassett and damn Lawrence Fishburne, man. Right? And dealing with the story of Ike and Tina Turner. Right? And most of you know that dealing with Ike and Tina Turner was a very abusive relationship. But these are Israelites. Right? When you want to have that evil mindset as a man, right? Then you're gonna be whooping on your woman, man, like Ike Turner. And that is not good, man. Right? You will be destroyed for treating our women like that. Now, bear with me. It may have some cursing on this small scene, right? But just you know what I'm saying, if you got kids around, you know what I'm saying, make sure that that you cover their ears, right? I'm gonna play this real quick. Hold on. Salaki, we'll turn on my brightness. Right? Bear with me. Rewind this.
I mean, but they all sound like the same, you know? What? I listen.
She didn't even yell at him.
I said, Exactly. I mean, but you do have your own style.
Wow. You got a lot of men in the truth that are doing this. And a lot of men in the world that are treating our women like this. Madness. Being a roaring lion in his household in front of other women. In front of the children, which he shall leave. Madness. Look at Ike, man. And if a lot of you men look up to Ike Turner, you got to check yourself in this thing, man. Right? Let's get another scene. Right? Let's get another scene. Right? This one got a little bit more cussing on it. So Salakia. But check this out, man. All right? Check this out, man.
That's number one in Euro minutes. Moving up the charts here in the U.S. And River Deep. Warrior fans come out, so stay right where you are.
Turn the music down. That's
Great point. How do you hit what you say that you love?
Hell no, they ain't got no big girl. Don't y'all want some breakfast?
No, not for me.
Look at him, high as a kite, man.
I feel good.
She should feel good with her hips all on her head.
See that? Salakia, man.
I feel good.
She should feel good with her hips all on her head.
Look at that. That's madness, man. All right, that's just Esau stopping that, man. All right, Salaki. It's kind of storming out here right now. There we go.
Mrs. Turner, that's a married woman you talking to.
So when are you gonna make another single, Mrs. Turner? Who knows, you know? There you go. Thanks a lot. All right, bye-bye.
Bullshit, man. You're supposed to be celebrating. Come on, man. All right, celebrating, I guess. Like Tina Turner review. Finna go on tour with the Rolling Stones. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate. Hey, can we get some of that cake? Matter of fact, bring that whole cake over here. Come on, bring us a taste. Get rid of this. That look good. Come on, man. I want a cake.
Come on, man. Look at that.
What's the matter, baby?
She don't want no cake.
Oh, come on, man. Open your mouth. See that? White man has to open your mouth. She sing all goddamn day long. I asked you, ain't gonna say nothing now. Come on now, I'm asking you nice.
And I'm saying no nice.
You know you come on. This cake. Come on.
Wow. See that? Wow. No regard. See that? Look, and she's so blinded that she said it's all right. No, it's not all right. And that's facts. You know, a lot of our women, you know, because, you know, a lot of our men treat our women that way because they don't understand how to court a woman. A lot of our women fall into these type of abusive relationships because they don't understand how to court a man. They don't understand the process that it takes time. It takes patience, right? And then you got a lot of our women who have died from the hands of us men because we want to be like that roaring lion, man, right? Let me get that precept real quick, man. Right here, you know, you got a lot of our men that don't even understand that we got to be sober in this thing when we're dealing with our women, right? Let's go to 1 Peter, right? Chapter 5, right? Bear with me. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5. Slack it. Let's say 2 Peter. Let's go to 2 Peter. All right. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. It's like you got my pages all ripped up, man. Right? Let's deal with it. This is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. And it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Right? So you have to keep the commandments in this thing if you're courting as a man. Right? Don't try to be that roaring lion. Be sober. Right? That's dealing double fold. Meditate on the scriptures. Meditate on the precepts on how it tells you, right, to keep the commandments in these last days, man. Right? Because as a roaring lion, right, said the video cut out. Slack it. Right? You're being a roaring lion, right, when you want to hit your woman, man. Right? And things of that nature. Right? We got to understand these things, man. Thus saith the Lord. Right? Brother said the video cut out. Is everything good on my end? Can brothers still hear me? Give me a con in the comments if you guys can still hear me. Let me get a quick con in the comments if you guys can still hear me. Come here.
The screen says that it's unavailable for policy violations.
So it cut off.
Yeah, you can see it on my screen. It says.
Give me a con if brothers can still see me. All praise to the Most High. All right, all praise to the Most High. All right, we won't show no more video clips, right? All praise to the Most High. Salakia, man. Salakia. Salakia for the delay, man. Esau trying to take away his word. Let's just stick with the precepts, man. Right? Let's stick with the precepts. Let's go to the book of Ephesians again. All right, let's go back to Ephesians chapter 5. All right, bear with me. All right, I'm gonna speed this up a little bit so we can get to the women, man. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5. Right? Let me start at verse. Let's start at verse 21 again. Right? Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of Yahweh. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. So when you treat our women this way, man, you don't love yourself, right? And these are things we got to realize, man, right? We have to understand that our wives were made, that these women were made to be submissive to the men. So we have to give them something that they want to be submissive to. And part of that is courting. Part of that is dating. Part of that is allowing the woman to get to know who you truly are spiritually, right? And who you are overall, man, right? If you are a righteous man, you want that woman, right, that you're dealing with to see these qualities. It's hard for her to see all the qualities of a man in one day, right? When we are in physical bodies that are nothing but filth, filled with the flesh, right? So this is how men should treat their woman, man, right? You got to be patient with the woman. Let's go to Judges chapter 14, verse 7, and let's get on the women. Let's go to the book of Judges chapter 14, verse 7. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well, right? So you got to talk to your woman in this thing, man. If you are courting a woman as a man, talk to her, man. You know our women like to talk and conversate, man. Be patient. Talk to her. See what she's about. Talk about what she went through in the past and what you can do in the future so that she doesn't have to go through these things again. Talk about the mistakes that you guys made in the world. Talk about, right, how to build, You know, what do you guys feel as far as is building a successful relationship in the truth? Talk about these scriptures. Go over the scriptures with the woman, man. You should be going through Proverbs 31, right? Sirach 25, right? There's countless scriptures that you can go over with our women, right? To teach them how to be a virtuous woman. There's countless scriptures that you can go over with our women to teach our women what a righteous man is supposed to be like, man. So that the woman has a guideline. So that she understands when you're going off, right? So that she understands what her place is, man. Right? These are things we got to realize, man. Because if you don't go over these issues, right, then you're going to have a lot of aggressive relationships, man. Right? Like the brother Benjamin Israel said, man. Right? All praise to the Most High, right? We got to address these abusive relationships, man. Because a lot of this stuff is not addressed because you got a lot of men of the Lord who say that they're men of the Lord who are on the highways and hedges who are being abusive, whether it's physically, right, or mentally, right? You can also be mentally abusive to your woman that you're courting or your woman that you are married to. We have to give our women something that they want to be submissive to. Stop acting like that nigga man in the world. Stop acting like that clip we brought out with damn Ike, man. Right? And it's funny that Esau would mess with this live once we bringing out what not to be like when we bringing out Ike and Tina, right? Because again, he doesn't want us. The best way that he can literally shut our nation down and keep us at the bottom is destroy the household, right? So you got to understand, like the sister said, communication is key in a relationship. And this communication needs to be on the foundation of the scriptures, right? If you are a woman and you're courting a man who's in this truth, right, who's doing the works of the Lord, you shouldn't be talking to any other man for advice dealing with the scriptures. No, you should be able to go to that man, right? Or get into the scriptures yourself, man, right? Because your head is Christ. Don't buck up at the man, right? Talking about, well, such and such told me this, such and such says this, such and such believes this. Well, sister, go in court such and such, man. Maybe he's not the one for you since you don't want to listen to the communication that he's trying to establish with you, right? If you are a man in this truth and you are wanting to court a sister and a sister has a question, you're trying to teach her, right? Don't sit there, right, and lead her, right, to another man, right? You should also be able to open up these precepts and go through the precepts with this woman and teach her. If you don't know the answer, advise wise counsel, right? Because communication is key on everything, man. Right? These are things that we have to realize. Thus said the Lord, man. Right? Now, how should you women treat the man when you are courting? Right? Let's get the book of 1 Corinthians, a classic, man. I got a few more. Let's get the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, right? Let's start at verse 3. Salakia there is going a little bit long. I didn't expect it to go this long, right? I'll try to speed this up, but we got to address these matters. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, right? And let's start at verse 3, right? Bear with me. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3, the classic. And it says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is Yahweh. So if you are a woman in this truth and you're wanting to court a man, understand what you're getting yourself into if you are dealing with the men of the Lord. Even if you're not dealing with the man of the Lord and you're dealing with the man in this world, which you should not be doing, he is your head. Be careful, right? These are things you got to realize, because the moment that you lay down with this man, that is your head. Which is why that courtship is very important. To have a time period to figure out if this is the type of man that you want to be laying down with every single night for the rest of your life here on this wicked earth, right? Understand that the man is over you. Even us as men, we have a head, and it's Christ. So if we got to listen to our head, women, you have to listen to your head as well, right? Because the Most High is about a just balance, right? Let's get the book of Judith, right? Dealing with our foremothers. Let's get the book of Judith, chapter 10, right? Let's go to the book of Judith, chapter 10. Let's start at verse 10, right? This is Judith, chapter 10, verse 10. And when they had done so, Judith went out, she and her maid with her. And the men of the city looked after her until she was gone down the mountain, and till she had passed the valley and could see her no more. Right? What's the point I want on this one? Salakia. This might have been the wrong precept. Verse 12. This is the point I want, right? Because you step out, you know what I'm saying, on the highways and hedges, you step out on the streets as a woman in this truth, man, right? As a woman of Yasharallah, right? And this is how you should step out, like Judith stepped out. Verse 12. And took her and asked her, of what people art thou? And whence comest thou? And whither goest thou? And she said, I am a woman of the Hebrews. Right? Women, you got to realize that you are a woman of Hebrew stock. So you can't sit there and be acting like these other nations, man. You got to realize that you are a woman of Hebrew Israelite stock. And the Israelites are set to be separate from everybody else. We're better than everybody else. Our women are better than everybody else. So don't step out, right, as a Hebrew Israelite woman, thinking that you have to step out like this woman. Let me share my screen again, right? Thinking that you have to step out like this woman, right? Don't step out on the streets trying to be like this damn woman right here, right? With her finger in the air, that nasty church finger, that walking down the aisles of the pews church finger. Don't be like this woman. You have to step out as a Hebrew Israelite. Don't step out thinking that you're this woman. No, you want to step out operating in the spirit of our mighty foremothers like Judith, man. Right? Like Judith. Right? Let's deal with it. Let's jump to verse, let's stay in Judith. Let's jump to verse 19. And they wondered at her beauty and admired the children of Israel because of her. And everyone said to his neighbor, who would despise these people that have among them such women? Surely it is not good that one man of them be left, who being let go might deceive the whole earth. You see, our women used to be so virtuous, right, that the other nations would not despise us because of the simple fact that we had such women amongst our stock as Israelites. But now these other nations, they despise us, right? Because a lot of our women, they got that Cardi B spirit, right? They got that Megan Thee Stallion spirit, that Glorilla spirit, right? With that FNF spirit, twerking on damn cars, right? A lot of our women have that Jocelyn spirit, right? A lot of our women are just all out, you know what I'm saying, in the world. But our women, right, our righteous women, our righteous foremothers like Judith, because of her, the whole nation of Israel was admired. And it starts with us men getting back to who we truly are so that we can give our women something to look up to. You see, our women, they want to step out there like the Cardi B's, because when they look at us men, we too busy being nigga mans in the world, man. Right? Want to be like damn, you know what I'm saying, like all these damn rappers, right? And operate in that spirit, right? And it's a great point, right? The sister is bringing out gems, right? And this ain't gems for Kwame Brown. This is gems for the Most High Yahweh, man. By Shema Mashiach coming like Yahweh Shai. The sister said, when you disrespect your man, you disrespect yourself also, right? You disrespect yourself also, right? These are things we got to realize, man. right? You seen a lot of this stuff on social media. You got women that's damn slapping up their husbands because their husbands brought them to McDonald's or Burger King, right? For something to eat. She talk about, I'm better than this. I'm better than this. Well, damn, sister. At least he thought of you. Then you got all these other nations that are surrounded looking, just shaking their head. Because again, we become a shaking of the head amongst the people, right? So women, you got to roll in this thing too when it comes to courtship. Operating like the spirit of our righteous foremothers, man, right? Let's get some more accounts, man. Let's go to Sirach, the classic. Let's go to Sirach chapter 25, right? This is Sirach chapter 25, verse 1. In 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before Yahweh and men, the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, and a man and a wife that agree together. This is why it's important to court. Because if you're courting a woman who doesn't agree, right, as a man, if you're courting a woman who doesn't agree, right, with the scriptures and how it is written, then that may not be the woman for you, right? As a woman in this truth, if you are courting a man who is not exhorting the scriptures whatsoever, right, then that's not a man. That's not the man for you. I'm going to keep it 100, right? Because the Most High says that it is a beautiful thing that a man and a wife, because that's the whole goal of courtship, is to lead to marriage, right? That it is good for a man and a wife to agree together, which is why as men, we can't sit there, and I'm going back to the men real quick, we can't have that rah-rah, roaring lion spirit like we seen damn Ike Turner have, man, right? Beating his women all over the place, man, right? You have to be able to agree. Sometimes your woman that you're courting, she's not necessarily telling you what to do, but she has some advice to give to you. It's nothing wrong with taking advice from the woman if she's coming from thus said the Lord. Stop being so prideful as men and humble yourselves down. Women, stop being so prideful when you have a man that's courting you and he's wanting to court you according to thus said the Lord, according to the scriptures. The man is telling you that, look, man, if you got questions dealing with the scriptures, confide in me. You don't need to confide in these other men. Just confide in me. Because once you marry that man, you're not going to sit there and be confiding in a bunch of other men, right? That's off. These are things we got to realize, man. Right? Thus said the Lord. Right? It's a great point. Jake need to start holding themselves at King standard and court righteous sisters, not dirty Cardi B sisters. That's right. Because they thinking with their thing and they're not thinking, right, with that spiritual mindset. Right? And our women, right, they thinking with that thing and they're not thinking with that spiritual mindset as well. So you have to be able to agree. Right? Now, you may not agree on all things, but when those times come up, you should be able to exhort the precepts, go through the precepts to get the correct answer so that both of you can come to an agreement. And if you're not bringing out the precepts, then you're coming off your own understanding, which we are commanded not to do. Don't listen to a brother, if you're a female in his truth, that says, oh, yeah, you know, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this as a woman. Well, where's the precept? Because you just coming off your own understanding, right? Let's stay in Sirach chapter 25. Let's jump to verse 20. Let's skip ahead. This is Sirach chapter 25, verse 20. As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. Right? Don't be that sister in this truth that's sitting there talking about, that wants to be loud all the time. Nah, Reginald. No, Reginald. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Don't be that loud sister, man. Nobody likes to deal with a loud sister, man. She's just loud all the time, bro. You go out in the store, you know what I'm saying? You in aisle 12, right? trying to get something for the house, something to eat for the house. She's all the way in aisle 5, and she's talking about Reginald. Nigga, I know you hear me. Just loud, right? You amongst all your brothers, man, right? And she the loudest one at the feast day, man, right? You going on a date, right? You courting a brother and y'all going on a date. Y'all going out to a restaurant or something, man, right? And you sitting down, and let's just say the server, you know what I'm saying, messes up your order, and you just being that loud, obnoxious woman like, I told you to get this thing right. I told you to get this thing right. Nah, take it back. Matter of fact, Reginald, get up, let's go. And Reginald may not want to leave. He, you got everybody kind of looking. You know what I'm saying? Don't be that loud, clamorous woman, man. Right? Because the Lord said that as the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. Right? It's impossible for an old man to be climbing up them damn sand dunes, man. Right? Hell, even if you old and you on a 4-wheeler and you old try to drive up the sand dunes. We seen that with the movie Napoleon Dynamite, man. That nasty Edomite movie. Right? Where you had Uncle Rico come up in there, right? And then the nephews is asking him, Napoleon Dynamite asking him, like, what are you doing here, Uncle Rico? And Uncle Rico says, oh, I'm here because your grandma, she's at the sand dunes, broke her cockets, right? Because she done drove up that nasty sand dune, man, right, and fell. It's impossible for an old man to climb up them sand dunes. And it's impossible for a man who's trying to court a sister to deal with a loud sister, man. Be shamefaced, man. Don't be shameless. Be shamefaced. Be quiet. Right, that shenane spirit, man. Right? You don't want to deal with a sister that got that shenane spirit, man. Right? Off of Martin, man. Right? Let's go to Sirach chapter. Let's continue to read. Verse 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. Right? So understand that we're instructed as men of the Lord not to stumble at the beauty of a woman. So guess what, women? Don't put all your eggs in the baskets dealing with your makeup, dealing with how you look. Put your eggs in the basket dealing with how virtuous you're trying to be. Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Because a real man of the Lord is going to want to deal, right, with a woman, right, who's not loud, right, but she doesn't put all her pleasure in her beauty, right? Verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. So you want to sit there and be the boss over your husband all the damn time, man, right? Your husband's just going to be full of anger. You're going to be full of anger, right? You court the brother, and you want to sit there and just control the brother, right? The brother's telling you to come to camp. You like, nah, I don't need to come to camp. Nah, The brother's telling you, let's go through the scriptures. You telling him, nah, I don't need no man to teach me, right? Hey, man, you just sitting there, you just full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. Verse 23. A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance and wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees, right? Because all you're going to do is just end up, weakening the man that you're dealing with. That may be a man that you really want to marry, man, right? And if you don't know your role as a woman in this truth, and you just constantly talking over him, you constantly just, having that nigga woman spirit, right? That thought spirit, you just making him weak, right? Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. This is why we have to understand, right? And how you women have to understand that you are the weaker vessel. It's not to knock you. It's just how the Most High created this thing to be, right? My wife is getting ready to be due any second, man, right? And just watching her sit there and go through all these pains, and go through this whole period, right, with my son, right? It's a beautiful thing. As a man, I be sitting there and I be like, man, all praise to the Most High. He ain't make me no woman because I don't know if I can go through that. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to have my belly stretched all the way out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm weebling and wobbling in 9 months, right? And I got to push, right? Like Strong J off Boomerang trying to push out that nasty perfume, right? And that's a hard thing that, you know what I'm saying, that women got to deal with. And the Most High made the woman to do that. The Most High gave women their own strength, just like the Most High gave us men our own strength. And women, you have to operate in your strength. Your strength is being submissive. Your strength is being quiet. Your strength is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, reverencing your husbands. That lies the strength in a woman, an Israelite woman. In men, our strength is making sure that we maintain the household. We do what we have to do to be men, right? To be able to provide for our women, right? These are things that we got to realize, man. Thus said the Lord, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach. Let's jump to chapters. I got a few more. Let's go to verse 26, chapter 26, verse 2. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. See, if you're being a virtuous woman, right, then the brother that you're courting, right, you're going to put more, you're going to give him a longer lifespan, right? Because we already have to deal with stress. Don't add more stress. It's like that meme, right? Be his peace, right? We already don't experience peace here in Babylon the Great. Why not be a virtuous woman in this truth, man? When you're courting a brother and be his peace, right? Let's jump to verse 9. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids, right? The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids, right? You got a lot of women that take pride in fake eyelashes to try to attract a man, right? Her haughty looks, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna wear this dress, but I want a huge split that go all the way up to my damn thigh, right? You kind of they kind of looking at themselves in the mirror. Oh, girl, yep, my behind showing today. That thing showing, right? Hey, that shows the whoredom of a woman, man. Right? A virtuous woman, right? She's not going to sit there and take pride in her looks. She's going to take pride in these laws, statutes, and commandments. She's going to take pride in operating in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. And a real man in the truth is going to literally, you know what I'm saying, see a real woman for those values. If you're a woman that's got that thought mindset, and you're a man that's in the truth that has that whoremonger mindset, all that's going to bring, you're just going to have a whoremonger with a thought. A whoremonger with a thought. And guess what? All hell going to break loose, man. Right? So these are things that we got to realize, man. Thus said the Lord, man. Right? Let's jump to verse 12. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. The scriptures are spoken in metaphors, similitudes, dark sayings. So when it's talking about she will open up her hedge and sit down on every arrow, that's talking about you don't want to be no woman that just opens up, you know what I'm saying, and sleeps with every single man. Oh, man, you got to take pride. You got to honor that thing, man. Sex is an honorable thing. Don't just lay down with every single man, because the man that you lay down with is going to be your husband. A lot of our women didn't know that before they came into the truth, which is why that grace was established from Yahweh Shai for our women, right? Even for our men who were being whoremongers, committing adultery, committing fornication, sleeping with women of our own stock, and not taking care of the husband duties. Women sleeping with men, right? And then sleeping with Juju down the street, and then with Ray the next day. Then all up on damn Maury talking about, look, Juju the father. You see the eyes? You see the nose? That's him. That's him. Then Juju not the father. Then the next week she on Maury again. Look at Ray. Look at, I'm here for a second time Look at Ray Ray. Look at Ray. You see the eyes? You see the nose? You see the lips? That's him. Right? There's going to be punishments, man. There's going to be things. If we sit there and we sow, right, wickedness, we're going to reap wickedness, man. Right? So don't be a whoremonger. Don't be a thought if you are a female. Right? That's what that's going into. Right? Thus said the Lord. Let's jump to verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Because as a woman in the truth, your mind's not going to be well instructed if you're too busy being loud and clamorous. And you are a gift if you have a quiet spirit about yourself, a calm spirit about yourself, right? I've learned that, man, right? I've dealt with a loud, clamorous woman before I came into this truth, man, right? And all hell was breaking out in my damn household, man. Then once I learned that I was an Israelite, man, I applied the precepts, and through thy grace, right, the Lord blessed me with the quiet woman, to the point there's times that I've gotten upset with my wife, right? And I got loud like a roaring lion. And she didn't come back at me like a roaring lioness. She didn't yell back and bark at me. She stayed calm and quiet. And guess who was looking dumb? My butt. I was looking like the idiot. To the point I had to look at her like, well, she calm and collective. What am I yelling for? Let me just be calm and collective and bring out my point that I'm trying to bring out in a calm and collective way so that communication is heard. Thus said the Lord, man. Right? Let's jump to verse 22. An harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband. So when you are dating, don't be sitting there trying to date a bunch of men, right? Don't be sitting there courting one man to another, man, because it's going to lead to you becoming a harlot, man, right? It's going to lead to you becoming a harlot, and you're going to be counted as spittle, as right? You're going to be counted as nothing, right? Just like the rest of these wicked nations, man. Thus saith the Lord, man, right? Let's go to Proverbs. I got a few more, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 31 real quick, right? And really, if you just read the whole book of Proverbs 31, right, as women in this truth, it gives you a guideline how to be a virtuous woman, right? Let's start at verse 10 again. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies, right? That's a question. They're hard to find, right? The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. See, if you were that virtuous woman, right, you're not being clamorous, right? You're being submissive. Hey, the man is never going to need for anything, right? Verse 12, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life, right? So don't be laying your hands on a man, right? With that Yvette spirit, man, from Baby Boy, right? Socking the heck out of Tyrese, right? Or Jody, right? Then want to turn around, be hitting him all in his back, talking about, I told you not to cheat on me, Jody, right? Don't be laying your hands on a man, right? And a lot of you women, a lot of our women, they end up they get abused by men who are not virtuous, or men who are not righteous, because they put their hand on that man, and he's not even a righteous man, right? Then that man takes, the advice that he got from his grandma, right? When his grandma told him, well, if she's man enough to hit a man, then, you know what I'm saying, and she's man enough to get hit like a man, right? And then you have a trickling effect of abusiveness within the Israelite community, man, right? Verse 13, she seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands, right? You want to be that woman in this truth if you're courting, to know that part of your job is to do a lot of work with your hands in the household, making sure that dinner's made, you're sewing, right? You're cleaning. You're doing everything that you can to make the house a house of peace, to make this man a man of peace. Why not rub his feet, man? Right? Why not rub his feet? Right? Give him a massage, man. Right? And watch how far that goes, man. Thus said the Lord. Let's jump to verse 23. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 23. And it says, her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Right? In the same way it is if you're courting a brother. Right? If you are a good woman, right? If you are a virtuous woman, that's going to show amongst everybody. To where if that brother is lucky to have you, to the point that these other brothers are going to know, like, yeah, you got you a good woman, man. Right? That woman's going to keep that brother righteous, man. That's going to be a strong, a real quote unquote power couple. Right? Not like what we see in the world, man. Verse 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. And that's your job at the end of the day as a woman in this truth, is to fear the Most High. That's how you're going to get your real praise in this thing, man. Right? Because to be honest with you, man, when you're a woman in this truth, right, you really just need to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and reverence your husbands. And that's your key to the kingdom, man. Right? That is your key to the kingdom. It's not your job to get out there on the highways and hedges, man. Right? And teach our people, and you know what I'm saying, the law, statutes, and commandments, man, and condemn these wicked nations, man, on the highways and hedges. That's the man's job. And that's a major job. And that's a lot of stress. He's putting himself out there as a living sacrifice, man. He can lose his life in this thing. Right? You have to operate with the spirit of our mighty foremothers by having that fear of the Most High, man. Thus said the Lord. Right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 30, verse 1. Right? Because it is a beautiful thing to operate in the spirit of our mighty foremothers. Here you have our women that says, oh, we just need to be independent. Right? Be independent. Be independent. And then come up with songs like, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Can you pay my automobile bills? Then maybe we can chill. Where's that in the scriptures? Right? Hey, you gotta be a strong tower for that, brother. Right? This is Genesis chapter 30, verse 1. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die. Give me children, or else I die. Right? So our foremothers, man, right? They took pleasure in giving the man children, right? Being a family, right? Being a wife, right? But our women, you know, they don't take pleasure in that, man. Our women are jealous of one another. Right, let me get this real quick, right? Bear with me. This is Sirach, chapter 26, verse 6. But a grief of heart and sorrow is a woman that is jealous over another woman, and a scourge of the tongue which communicateth with all. So if you're courting a brother, right, understand you can't be jealous of another woman, right? If you are married, you cannot be jealous of another woman, right? Because men can have multiple wives. But as men, you have to have the spirit of discernment to see if that is expedient for you. Because if you are operating with that spirit, man, right, you're not only doing a pleasure to yourself, but you're doing a pleasure unto your wife, and you're doing a pleasure unto the Most High, man. Don't get yourself in a situation that you're not ready for. If you have a virtuous woman, deal with that virtuous woman. Because who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above rubies? Right? So if you got a virtuous wife, hey, man, the chances are very, very slim that you may find another virtuous woman like the one that you already have. Right? And women, you got to think of the same thing, which is why you shouldn't be jealous towards another woman. If a man decides that he wants another wife and wants to talk to another woman or court another sister, you have to understand too that if you're courting that man, you've exhorted the precepts, you realize you've discerned his spirit that he's a man of the Lord. So he's not going to sit there and court a virtuous woman, then turn around and go get with Shaquan Nishran, man, right? or Wakandra, right? These are things we got to realize, man. Have faith in your man too, man. Trust your man too, right? Especially if you're dealing with the man that trusts the Most High, right? Because our righteous foremothers said that I'd rather die. Give me children or less I die, right? That's powerful, man. All right, let me get 3 more. Let's go to 2 Corinthians, man. Let's go to 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, right, verse 14, right, the classic. Let's go to the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6. Let's start at verse 14, and it says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communication hath light with darkness? So make sure as a woman in the truth that you're courting a brother that's equally yoked. As a man in the truth, make sure that you are courting a woman that is equally yoked, right? That both parties believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Both parties believe that to truly love the Most High is to obey the commandments. Both parties believe in the roles that they're supposed to play as man and as woman. Because if you have a man in the truth, right, and you're dealing with a woman who's not in the truth, that's all types of madness, man. You're going to have division in your own household. If you are a woman that's in this truth and you dealing with the man that's not in this truth, you're always going to have division, right? So make sure that you're equally yoked, man. And to become equally yoked, you have to pray, right? Look at the book of John, chapter 15, verse 7, right? You got to pray, right? Don't just step out there on the scene, right, and be like, yeah, I'm about to find my husband. No, you need to be praying for these things in your secret place. Pray that the Most High gives you a husband at the right time, because it may not be the right time for you to be married, because you still have some things that you have to work out. Brother, it may not be the right time for you to be married because you have some things that you need to work out spiritually. John chapter 15, verse 7. If, I think that's what I want. Yeah, come on. If ye abide in me and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. So if you are abiding in the Most High, man, right, then whatever it is that you are asking for, right, will be given unto you. Shalom, Sister Shemetta, right? Mighty sister of WFI Seattle, right? So you have to pray for these things, man, right? Make sure that your spirit is right as a woman that's wanting to court a man in this truth. Brother, make sure that your spirit is right for wanting to court a woman. Because if you're looking for a husband, if you're looking for a wife, these are things that you should ask the Most High for. And if you are abiding in the scriptures, he's going to give you that right husband. He's going to give you that right wife, that virtuous wife, that virtuous woman. If you don't abide in him, you're going to end up, right, with Shanae, like the brother brought out earlier. You're going to end up, right, with the woman, right, who going to bench press you, man, right? If you're not abiding in the Most High, sister, you're going to end up with an Ike Turner. You're going to end up with a Jody, right, from Baby Boy, right? These are things we got to realize, man, right? Let's get the book of Luke chapter 11. Let's go to Luke chapter 11, verse 9. Just 3 more. Bear with me. I want to get 3 more. Let's go to Luke chapter 11, verse 9. This is Luke chapter 11, verse 9. And it says, and I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. That key word I wanted to bring out in there is that Christ said that you have to seek. Who shall find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Right? As a woman in this truth, right, it's also not easy finding a righteous man. You have to seek these things out. If you are seeking for a righteous man, you're going to eventually find you one, because you're going to have the spirit of discernment to know that, no, I'm not messing with that dude. I'm not going to talk to that dude. I'm not going to court that dude. He got a nigga spirit, right? Nah, I can't deal with him. Now he got too much going on, right? As a man in this truth, you're going to be able to know, nah, I'm not trying to fool with that sister. She takes too much pride in all her looks, man. She's trying to show off her body to everybody. She talking to all the homies, man. You know what I'm saying? I got my homies over and she talking to all my homeboys. Yeah, she kind of loud, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, mamas, I'm not dealing with that, right? You're going to be able to have that spirit of discernment, right? So you have to seek and you will find. Let's get the book of James, chapter 5, verse 16, right? We have to watch what we pray for, man, right? If you're wanting to court and you're looking for a husband, you should be praying for the right husband and for the right wife, man, right? This is James chapter 5, verse 16. Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that ye may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So you should be praying with each other if you are courting in this thing. That's a beautiful thing, right? Why not have a date where it's just nothing but prayer, right? Why not be a man in the truth and call up that woman that you're courting and be like, hey, how you doing, sweetheart, right? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Just want to let you know that I was just thinking about you, right? Through the spirit. I would love to get together. You know what I'm saying? Let's get together, man. Let's go get some coffee. You know what I'm saying? Something to drink. We can kind of go over the scriptures, right? And then, and let's just go take a walk. Let's go take a walk in the park, man, right? And let's go somewhere private and let's pray. How mighty is that, man? Right? That would be a mighty date, man. Right? That's how you're going to build yourself up. That's how you're going to establish courtship to marriage, right? With prayer, right? Let's go to Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, the last one, right? The classic, man, right? We got to operate in the fruits of the spirit, man. If you're not operating in the fruits of the spirit, then, you're going to end up being caught up with somebody that you don't want to be with, man, right? Galatians chapter 5, verse 22. But the fruit of the spirit is love. Right? Love is keeping the commandments. Joy. Right? We got to take joy that the Most High made man for women. Made women for men. Salakia. Right? That the Most High put man and woman together to cleave unto each other. Peace. We got to bring peace. Don't you come on, man. We got to deal with a lot of stuff dealing in this wicked world, man. We don't want to be courting no sister. No sister don't want to be courting no brother, and there's no peace in the relationship, man. Right? Because scriptures is not being exhorted, man. Long suffering. We got to be patient with our brothers. We got to be patient with our sisters in this thing, man. Right? Gentleness. Be gentle amongst each other. Right? Our women used to have that spirit of delicateness, man. Right? Like in Deuteronomy 28:56 says, man. They lost that way. Right? Our men used to be gentle towards our women. Now our men is sitting there and abusing our women. Be gentle. Goodness, faith, meekness, temperance, against such there is no law. So understand that courting is very important to marriage, man. And if you do not exhort the scriptures, you're not going to understand the tips that's going to lead to a successful marriage, man, in this truth. Thus saith the Lord. So with that, I hope you guys were edified, giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach Komalaki Yahweh, right? Again, Salakia, right, for the delay on the stream. I want to say shalom again to Morsi Deacon Anthony, right? Lady of Zion, right? Hebrew Daughter, T. Sellers, right? Brother Believe, right? Yasharala, right? Joanna Yisrael, Tapala, Yahuda, Yisrael, Yafaya Israel, Zephaniah, Yasharala, right? Shalom, 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 right? Brother Jay, shalom, shalom, shalom. Shalom, take me from among the heathen. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Right? Famil and Jay, my brother, shalom. Never fold. Shalom, shalom, shalom. From Seattle since 1980, my Ak, man. Shalom, shalom. Mighty Ak from Word on 53rd, man. Right? Amaya Eason, shalom, shalom, shalom. Right? Also, everybody else that chimed in, right? Lady Culture, even though you were scoffing, we love you if you're an Israelite. Got to keep the commandments. Shalom, 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 right? And shalom to everybody else. Mina Israel, shalom, right? Rest Bancraft, shalom, shalom. Benjamin Israel, shalom, right? Daughter of Zion, right? And everybody else who chimed in, right? And I hope you guys have a wonderful, right, Shabbat, right? Happy Shabbat. And let's keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and understand that courting is an important thing. And it takes patience, man, right? So with that, Kwam Yasharala. Kwam Yasharala.